All right, we're now in the interior of 4958T, the 2013 Forest River Sunseeker. I'm going to start all the way at the rear of the camper and kind of work my way towards the front. So in the very rear of the camper, your rear window is an emergency exit window. If you ever have to get on an emergency, you can flip the red handle up, shove the window out, and get out the window. Shades are accordion style shades where you'll just lift up or pull down on your actual shades. Same style shade on the window over there to the side of the bed. It does have a small window that opens up over there on the left hand side of the bed also. Storage in your drawers and storage in the cabinet, and remote for the television up here at the base of the bed. Main light switch for the lights above the headboard. At the base of the bed, there's a part that will lift up, and there is a storage area in the very front here. Also at the base of the bed is storage in all your closets. Main light switch for the bedroom lights. On the bedroom ceiling here, you have what they call a fantastic fan. This is manual crank up. You'll rotate the knob. Once you turn it on, you'll see that the fan comes on. You can change directions of flow of the fan. You can change fan speeds, and you can also set the thermostat for certain temperatures on your fan. When you close it, it'll shut off. At the base of the bed, I don't believe there's any outlets over here on this side. But there are some outlets over there on that side over there. And a small storage cubbies over there on the left side. Thermostat is over here on the wall. Basically on the thermostat, you'll push it and it'll light up for fan. Push it again, it'll light up for cool. Push it again, it'll light up for furnace. Push it again, it'll light up for heat pump. Push it again, it goes down to the off. So it'll just cycle around. You can pick whichever desired setting, whether it be fan, cool, furnace, or heat pump, and then use your arrow keys, up or plus or minus keys for temperature. Now the air conditioner obviously has to have electricity or generator running to run. Furnace will run strictly on propane. Does not need to be plugged in or anything like that for the furnace section. And if you want to use the heat pump, there again, it has to have strictly electricity or generator in order to run the heat pump. Heat pump works well. It will produce basically electronic heat. So if for some reason you run out of propane on your furnace side, you could actually run your heat pump and still have heat in your camper. You have storage in your cabinets below the sink area and storage in the vanity. A little accordion style door here that you could unsnap, and we'll come across to the other side here to close it off for privacy in the bedroom or bathroom area. Inside of here, you have a nice size shower area. Walk-in shower. There's a little transport latch. You can slide the door over and lock the latch for transport, or unlock to gain access into your shower. Controls are pretty standard operation, and then there is a skylight up in the shower. Again, manual crank up vent lid here with the fantastic fan on it that you could open up, and again use the fan speeds and whatnot. Now this one doesn't have a thermostat like the bedroom one, but operates very similar. Toilet is a side flush toilet. There's a pedal on the right hand side to flush the toilet. Main control switch for the lighting inside of here. TP holder on the wall and towel holder. And then there is a mirror on the actual door. Light switch here for the lights in the sink area here. And again, more GFCI protected outlets. You have a pocket door that you can unsnap and will slide across to give you privacy in the bathroom area or bedroom area or whatnot. Moving down into the kitchen area, you have storage in all your drawers and cabinets below the countertop here. Stovetop, you have a 3-burner stovetop. There's highlighted circles to tell you which burner you are using. You will turn that to the light position. Once in the light position, you'll come over here and turn the sparker. The sparker only turns to the right. You do have to ignite each individual burner. So I could turn my left on, hit the igniter. Once that burner's lit, I could go to the front and so on. Directly above that, microwave, which is pretty standard operation. It is convection. There is an exhaust fan on it with multiple speeds, and then there is lights underneath of it also. And the switches for those are right here, the fan and the light. Storage in your cabinets up above the countertop area. Lights, if you can't find a main switch, look for a switch on the actual light itself. Again, accordion style shades with a window that will open up over here. This, from my first video, I showed you on the outside where you could stick a trash can. This is that compartment, and then you could drop your trash right down into that trash can. Sink is pretty self-explanatory. It does have the pull-out hose on it. It does have like a little cutting board style cover. You can switch from side to side. Stoppers in the actual sink itself. There's a table extension that you can flip up if you need extra room on your table, and there's going to be little arms that flip up to hold that table up. Down below the table, that is going to be a hardwired propane and carbon monoxide alarm. That alarm is brand new. That is hardwired to the camper, so no batteries to replace inside of that. Throughout the camper, you're going to see vents like this down low. Any vent like that down low is going to be for the furnace. Vents up high on the ceiling like this are going to be for the air conditioner, unless you're running the heat pump. If you're on the heat pump, you will have heat that comes out of those vents up in the ceiling. To the left of the refrigerator here is some storage, and there are adjustable shelves inside of there. And then next we come to your refrigerator. Refrigerator's pretty standard operation on that. Now, you got doors up top and on the bottom. Now, controls for the refrigerator are up in the very top up here. You'll power it on up here, and you'll see it'll light up over here, and obviously my lights will turn on when I power it on. See on this screen, you got 3 buttons here. First one's off on, pretty self-explanatory. Next one, I could pick whether I want to run it on auto. If I have it on auto, what it's going to do is it's going to run on electricity if I'm plugged in, and if I'm unplugged and my propane's turned on, it'll automatically switch over to the propane side. And then my last button over here is temperature. I like to max mine all the way out at 5, but entirely up to you. There are instructions over here on the side of the refrigerator, if for some reason you forget how to operate that. Does have ice makers in these. We don't really use them too much in the camper world because normally you don't really drink too much of that, or use the water like that for drinking. Most people use bottled water, but it does come equipped with an ice maker in it. And there are adjustable shelves and whatnot inside of here also. Moving down the hall area here, there is storage in the little closet area here. I already showed you the switches and breakers and battery disconnect in my first video. Main touch panel here, well, we'll see. You got speaker selector here for your speakers. Slide out control for your main slide out that goes down the whole side of the camper over here. In order to run that slide out, you're either going to hold it in till it comes all the way in or out till it goes all the way out. Try not to stop midway. The design of these slide outs, they could become off if you stop midway. So basically what you want to do is when you run the slide out, hold that button down till the slide goes all the way out. Maybe hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds after the slide's completely extended. That way, if anything's misaligned, it will correct itself. Same thing going back in, hold that button coming in. If anything gets misaligned, it corrects itself. If you hold it like that in and out completely, it'll keep everything straight and running good. Water heater switch here, that is for the propane side of the water heater. And again, all you got to do is have your propane on outside, flip your switch on, and that will self-ignite that water heater. Make sure there's water in the water heater. Water pump switch. Anytime I want to pump water out of that fresh water tank of water I take with me on a trip, you need a water pump. So you're going to turn the water pump on. Once you turn that on, it's going to pressurize the whole system to where when you run a sink or shower or whatever, you have water. As you're running those items off the water pump, you are going to hear the water pump growl. That is completely normal operation. Now, when you shut the water off, that pump will build up pressure and the growling will stop. Arctic Pack, these are little heating pads that they put on the waste tanks, so if you get into cold weather, your tanks won't freeze up or anything like that. Living room light and kitchen light for your switches here. Generator start stop switch and hour meter here. Typically you'll start the generator from in here. Again, on my first video I showed you there was an external switch. Once you fire up the generator, allow, I'm going to say 30 to 45 seconds. After the generator is running, it senses that the generator is running and the transfer switch will switch over to supply power to the actual camper. So as soon as you fire this up, you're not going to have power instantly. You just got to wait about 30 seconds till it switches over. If you haven't ran this in a while, you could hold the button to the stop position. You'll see the button light up there. What that's doing is that's priming fuel to the generator. So when I go to start it, it starts up quicker. So if I haven't ran in a while, hold that down about 3 to 5 seconds. After that, come up, hit start till your generator starts. Allow the 30 to 45 seconds for your generator to transfer switch to transfer over, and you'll be good to go. Over here, you have tank level buttons that you can push to show you how much propane, battery condition, fresh water, black water, and gray water. I'll show you all on these lights over here to tell you how much is in it. Fire extinguisher over here to the left of the door is brand new. We did put a brand new fire extinguisher in. There's a clock that's battery operated on the wall there that you could remove to replace the battery or whatnot as needed. Now on the rooftop, you'll see there's a little crank here. It says antenna. The previous owner actually modified the antenna. It's not the same antenna. So this crank is not going to do anything for you. It's just there, obviously, to cover the hole. They mounted a different style antenna on the actual rooftop. So this really doesn't apply to you unless you ever want to convert it back. You could convert it back because part of the parts are still up there. But they have a different style antenna on the rooftop. Couches, it looks like they've actually replaced the couches too. Couches will recline. There's little tethers on the side here that you could pull to recline them. There's a little storage inside the center armrest there. Again, sliding style windows over here, accordion style shades where you just pull them down. Also too, again, lights that have the switch on the actual light itself. Across from that, your little dinette area, there is a window with accordion style shades behind there. Storage in your compartments up above, and again, a light with a switch on the actual light itself. Starter kit we always put in, gives you the basics to get you up and going. You'll get a brand new garden hose, a brand new sewer hose, a 30 to 110 adapter, some gloves, some toilet paper, and some flush and treatment bags so you can just flush down the toilet to keep the tank smelling fresh. There's a book and manual for the outdoor DVD player on the outside. Tabletop, if you ever want to make this into the bed, on the bottom side of the tabletop, there's a lever you flip down. This tabletop will push down and rest on these ledges. You then take the back cushion off, set it on the top of the table on both backs to make this into a bed area. Underneath the table, there is 110 outlets and 12-volt outlets over there in the corner. And then there is storage drawers underneath each of the booths on the table. Up top here, you have a bunk area. This will actually, if you want to access to walk into your chairs, you can flip this up. If you want to make this into a bed, let me reach up here. You could grab this, flip this down, and it will make into a bed area up here. You got surround sound speakers up on the ceiling up there. Storage cubbies up top here, cup holders. Again, a light with the switch on the light. Some curtains that will pull off for pull around for privacy up here. Television, this is a 12-volt TV, so this TV doesn't actually have to be plugged in order to use. You see it's got a 12-volt power cord over here, but on your television here, same thing, just like your other TVs, these are hooked to the air television antenna on the rooftop. When you get where you're going, if you go to menu, well actually this one I got to change the input first. Let me change my input, source. So I'll change my input to TV. I could hit enter. I could go to menu. I could scroll over to channel. I could go down to auto scan, hit enter, and that will pull in my local channels on my television up front here. This TV does have little knobs you could loosen up here, and this TV will swivel out towards you. So if you're sitting on the couch or at the dining area, you can watch that television, or if you leave it tipped back like it is, somebody up in the front area could watch it from the bunk area. There is ladder access up to the top up here if you need a ladder, if you don't feel like climbing up on the chair or something like that. Again, another fantastic fan on the ceiling. Smoke alarm up here on the ceiling. Manual crank up vent lid here on the ceiling, and then there's a switch over here on the side to turn that fan on. This is your main air conditioning unit here. There's a rinseable filter inside of here. If you want a big blast of air out of your air conditioner, you could open up this side vent. If you close this vent, it disperses more air out of the round vents on the actual ceiling. Moving up to the front half of the camper here, you have a backup camera that is integrated up here into the mirror. Armrests on your seats. Everything's pretty standard operation up here. If you've ever driven a Ford or anything like that, I mean, again, all this is pretty basic. Horn, cruise, all that on the steering wheel. Turn signals, wipers, gear selector, everything in central locations. Temperature controls up here. Radio is touch screen and everything like that. So once you put your key in the ignition here, you could turn on the vehicle. I could come up top here, power on my radio, allow it to boot up for a second here. Your reverse camera is integrated up top here. There's a little power switch over here on the corner. Again, allow that radio time to boot up. Once it boots up here, there's your radio here. I could come over to the home button, touch that. Gets me into basic screens here. USB or USB, AVs, any of that stuff. You can link iPhones and stuff like that into it with the cord there. But again, all touchscreen. It's got weather band on it, all kinds of different things on the actual functions of it. Believe it might even have navigation, but I'm not sure. Me personally, I would use the phone because your phone's going to have the most current navigation on it. Main power button up here. Again, you play around with the buttons, you'll figure it out. It's pretty easy. 12 volt cigarette lighter here. 12 volt outlets here for phone chargers and whatnot. But again, very basic up front, nothing too crazy. Then you have some storage cubbies throughout here just for your belongings and drinks and whatnot. Other than that, that concludes my interior video of this camper. We appreciate your business and hope you enjoy your new purchase. Thank you.